Welcome, students, to Monk Meditation, the show about monks in the world of Warcraft.
It is time to return to the Peak of Serenity and wield Shay Lun, the staff of Emperor Shao Hao, to fight the Burning Legion once again, coming up on Monk Meditation, episode 53!
Here's your host, Chai T.
Welcome everyone, I'm Chai T from Airy Peak, US, here today, and I fancy myself the leader of this little shindig. We did some huge news, actually we had some huge news come down this week, and we won't be going over the whole announcement, it's just how it pertains to the monks. So, we're still the best, and the most agile class in the game, damn it! To help me go through all this information, I've assembled a cracked team of monks. Let's check in with tonight's hosts on how WoW is now in...
Storm, Earth,
and fire!
And I'm all fired up, so let's keep the energy going. Monkey-O, how you doing, sir? You are muted.
You're sweet Monkey-O.
To match your fire. I guess
all the energy.
All the energy gone. All right.
All the energy's gone, man. Now we're just still trying to kill that last boss so we can have a little breather, you know, take a little break. That's what's going on so far.
All right, and going over to Air.
Long time no see, everybody. Hello, Dojo. Hello, listeners. Hello, Chai,
Hello.
LeBlue, and Monkey-O. Long time.
Yes.
So, hi, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. It's been good. It's been busy. I've been traveling. I've been doing stuff, getting things set up. Changing my country again soon.
Oh.
Eventually.
That's news.
No big, we'll see what happens. But,
Okay.
yeah. I'm raiding. I've been raiding a lot lately. Working as intended!
Yay!
It's a 12 of 13 heroic.
Is that as
Seeing
intended?
phase 4 of Archimond. Things are going well. Is it Archimond or Archimond?
I always say
It's
Archimond.
Archimonda?
It's like school.
Archimond.
It's
Archimonda.
Shush.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Archimond nerds.
So, it's been a lot of fun with the team, and we're hitting it hard. It's good. I magically got a 4-set somewhere in there. I got a class trinket in there somewhere. I'm Rising Sun kicking all the things. It's great. I love it. So much fun. It's a good thing that there's no classes out there that are going to replace us. I mean, we're so good right now. It just feels great. Yeah.
All right, well, rolling...
Visual, sleek, fast.
Rolling Thunder continues rolling through normal, downing a new boss this week with Zul'Harrak falling. We got Tyrant Velhari down to about 20% in a few polls, so she's going to go down soon. Heroic is coming soon. We're going to try to get ahead of the curve this time. In other news, I have stepped down from Rectified. I have found I value sleep a little bit more on Saturday morning, more than getting a few more bosses down. Saturday is legitimately the only day I can sleep in, so gotta go with that. And LeBlue, how are things going, sir?
Well, I'm at level 863 at Clicker Heroes, right? Oh, WoW stuff. So last week, I got to raid again last week. Week before, I was obviously unavailable, and apparently you were very sad.
Yes.
You all were very sad.
We missed you terribly.
We did, but hey, we did farm really quickly, and I got to see Soccer Thar for the first time. And I got to play in the robot and do runny things and then go, oh my gosh, why is the boss killing me things? And it was a lot of fun. And maybe, I hope this week we'll kill it. I think we were getting it down. It's just we had the ever-present problems of, well, I know this mechanic, but I'm going to keep throwing my face at it until it decides to not work on me for whatever reason.
Right.
Not much else out in WoW. I'm about 10 treasure missions away from my level 3 garrison. So that's a thing, I think. Or level 3 shipyard.
I was like, wait, what?
Whatever. You know what I mean? Once I had to click something on Clicker Heroes.
Stop clicking!
Just to annoy you. No, but yeah, I'm doing stuff. Final Fantasy stuff. Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Final Fantasy.
All right, well, now to keep your spirits up, all the world changes around you, and there's a lot of change coming in.
The sky is falling! The sky is falling!
Uplift. Don't worry, I'm sure it happens to other monks too.
So in case you were hiding under a rock this week, a new World of Warcraft expansion has been announced.
Corgis Unleashed.
Corgis Unleashed is coming out this fall. No, Legion has been announced. If you haven't heard about Legion at all, go check the VODs on twitch.tv/Blizzard or on Blizzard's YouTube channel. We're not going to be going over everything, just what pertains to the monk. So the first thing that pertains to the monk, every class is going to be getting a class order hall. And so this is going to be kind of Garrisons 2.0, but not really. But it's everybody that is a monk will be able to go to this place, and so you'll be tons of monks. This has got to be Peak of Serenity, right?
We've been there.
Basically, everyone gets Acarus.
Yeah, but the mages have
Knights
Dalaran, right? The mages have Dalaran, so they've been there. Death Knights have
Rogues have
Arcturus.
sewers of Dalaran because they're dirty squatters.
Right. So Peak of Serenity, it's got to be that for the monks, right?
Yeah, but I mean, these other things are essentially moving to the current patch world for the most part.
Right.
You know, so I mean, they're moving Arcturus to the Lost Isles. They're
Right.
Did
Dalaran is
they? Did they
moving.
say they're moving Acarus?
It's on the map.
They showed a map, and Arcturus was there. Yeah.
Oh.
Subject to change, but the Arcturus, the map is there for it. You know, they talk about the Warlocks are going to be off some portal, off some other world, but I'm guessing that's accessible within Dalaran itself.
Yeah, but see, we have the teleport to Peak of Serenity, so that kind of
Yeah.
Death Knights have it to Acarus too, though. So
Right.
that's not quite foolproof.
Right, but it's not like we have to go way out of the way to get there. So
Yeah, and I guess as Paladins are getting Light's Chapel, so
Yeah,
Which is
I don't
weird
think it
having-
necessarily means it if it fits in the lore, like, i.e., Acarus and Dalaran are floating and can move. Thus, it makes sense if they can move over there. So, but, like, I don't think we're going to move a mountain anytime soon.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to do
it's,
some
it's either going to
serious
be Peak of Serenity or Shadowpan Monastery or something like that. I
Right,
mean, that's
it's got to
the
be
only
in
thing that
Pandaria. It has to
fits
be.
lore-wise, which I mean I guess makes sense.
Right.
Not
I
as
would say
cool.
the classes that really probably need to be kind of going, I wonder where are those that don't already have their effective version of Acarus or hasn't been announced
Right,
yet.
so Druids,
Right.
Druids will probably be in Moonglade, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Warriors,
That makes
Druids, all those other less awesome classes than us, pretty much.
Yeah.
And Death Knights.
Yeah,
What
so
Druids have?
we'll see when the where like Warriors and them go. So, but it has to be Peak of Serenity somewhere in Pandaria. Maybe they'll be in that new like Night Elfish zone that Serenity. Maybe it's in the Emerald Dream. Who knows? I don't know. All right. What else will happen is spec-specific artifact weapons. So we did see the one for Mistweaver. It's going to be a Shay Loon, the Staff of the Mist, which was held by Emperor Xiao Hao. We do not know yet what Windwalkers or Brewmasters are going to get. So there was a lot of questions in the community about what that will be. So let's talk Windwalker first. So do we think this is going to be a two-hand or a dual-wield air?
Fist weapons. Calling it now, fist
It's-
weapons.
I really think fist weapons sounds right.
Yeah.
We're Tiger Claws. Rawr! Rawr! We're gonna have those. That's
And you're
just
going to,
what it's
like,
gonna be.
just
We're
as a
not gonna
cool
have a
proc,
staff.
That
you
makes
get
the
like a
most
flurry of
sense, right?
Shuen
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
cool proc. There you go.
So
I mean, that's what it's gonna be.
and the question
really
is
think
is there anything in lore that matches? Or is it going to be something cool that they come up with?
It's probably going to be cool they come up with to link it back to the August Celestials. Like, the Mistweavers, you stole Emperor Xiao Hao. Congratulations. You got that one on us. But Windwalkers, I think, is definitely going to probably come up. Because I have a theory about what the Brewmaster one will be. And it's already kind of established in lore, sort of, kind of-ish. Whereas Windwalker,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure of.
So we'll see. I mean, the big thing is that we're not. At least we're not competing for weapons, right?
Right. So
And
that's one thing
this
that
makes
was
our-
announced. Yeah. So these
And-
artifact weapons are going to be the only ones we use throughout Legion, and there's going to be no weapon drops except for just catch-up ones right at the very beginning.
And in addition to that whole thing with the monk, the way of the monk, the dual wield versus two-handed, has been a point of contention prior to Warlords, and I guess now is essentially the same, but that's not going to matter anymore either. You know? Here is your thing.
I'd be really shocked though if like as they add patches or tiers, depending how long it is, they don't add like weapons to kind of help catch up from there. Like I would be surprised if they just kind of left it and said, "Sorry, get to go grind 1,000 things, have fun."
Yeah, maybe, but you know, this is kind of their legendary thing, right? So it's going to last, you know, all expansion.
Yeah. I'm just saying I would be surprised if there wasn't a catch up added later on.
At some point, definitely.
Goes. Yeah.
Yeah, so how you're going to level up these weapons is through relics that drop throughout the raids. So Mythic is going to drop more relic pieces, upgrade faster, things like that. So you've got two different paths essentially. You get like the upgrades that you can upgrade and add special abilities and things like that to it. Think like the thing that immediately came to my mind was like in Final Fantasy X, the whole grid system where he went out and branched off and went to various ways. So it reminds me a lot of that. And then there's also the relic pieces that will drop from raids, which will upgrade the item level and power and add intellect, spell power, stuff like that to it. So that's kind of two different progression paths they're giving for each weapon. They also did mention for hybrid classes, like the monk, when you upgrade the weapon through the relic system, or not through the relics, but through that like upgrade path, you'll get the same number of points for both specs, and you'll be able to get both weapons. But the relics that drop to upgrade the item level and things like that, you'll have to get those independently for the two weapons.
Yep.
Correctly.
What about that Mistweaver weapon? What's that going on?
Oh, sorry. If I understand correctly, you'll be able to work on it through other forms of content, just not as quickly per se as Mythic raid or not. Because that was something.
Sure.
But there's nothing official, but I'm pretty sure I remember hearing and seeing something about how you can still work on it through that. It's just probably going to take a lot more of a time commitment in that instance. Like grinding out dailies or weeklies or whatever versus you killed this raid boss and now you have this to help give you X amount of power or work towards X amount of power.
Yeah.
To be seen, obviously.
Yeah, because if they do something like a dungeon boss, like a normal, not even a heroic dungeon boss, gives you, I don't know what do you call them, the relics, or the little additions to your artifact power, what they might be called, but for now we'll just call them like upgrade items. You know, is that going to add stats to your item? If so, do the like lower level things just increase by a little bit, and the mythic level things, let's say, increase by a lot?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the only ways you're going to be upgrading the item level is through the relic drops, and I'm guessing those will probably drop in pretty much everything, PvP, the Order Hall quest, stuff like that. But when a mythic drop, you'll probably, and we don't know yet if it's going to be like a personal loot item that just drops and you upgrade it, or if it's going to be an actual like drop that you hand out and get to distribute. So we don't know that yet. Like yeah, that's what it sounds like. You'll just have relics that drop from various bosses, probably along with your tier. So that would be my guess, but we'll have to see. So what was your question about the Mistweaver one here? You're muted.
What do Mistweavers get? We talked about Windwalkers.
Yeah, so we do get a staff, Shaylun, Staff of the Mists. It starts off looking pretty snazzy with like the little scroll that goes down. And what's nice is you are able to kind of not do a transmog, but upgrade the appearance of it as time goes on and choose one that fits your thing. So there's one that is a serpent thing. There's one that looks like the crane. It's got Chi-Ji over there.
That looks really nice.
There's a Shaw-touched one, and then I guess the other one's supposed to be Zhuan, but doesn't really fit, so I'm not sure.
They haven't finished all of them anyway. You have the space one, then you have the master one, we'll call it, and then you have the other skins. They said there's going to be a bunch of them, though, so I don't think those are obviously done.
Yeah, they showed 5 of them on stage, so yeah, they look pretty cool. So let's move on to Brewmasters. So I know your theory, LeBlue.
Okay. So everyone knows the most prominent Brewmaster is Chen Stormstout. Yes. He's not a Windwalker. He's a Brewmaster. Sorry, Windwalker nerds.
Even though he did Storm, Earth, and Fire in the comic book.
Even though he did. He's basically like the monk Jesus, we'll call him.
Right.
He's that awesome. I think I'm hoping, I'm praying that we get his staff like with a keg attached to it. 'Cause I just want to smash a keg on something not with my hands, but I want to swing something that just smashes a keg.
Yeah.
That's my theory, and it's probably completely wrong, but I would be totally happy. Otherwise, if I see Frostmourne in any Death Knight spec, that's where I'm going, because effing Frostmourne.
Yeah, I would say my guess is it's going to be a polearm. If it's not Shen's staff, and I really like that theory, but if it's not, I think it's going to be a polearm. As the staff seems to be like too intellecty, you know, but yeah, I could definitely see a badass polearm from somewhere.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. And I did get the. Give me just a second here. I'm going to show the staff. I just need to get this added in really quick. This is a wonderful radio. What's it called? Panel 26. Desktop. Come on, hurry! I was trying to let you guys vamp a little bit, and then you failed me miserably.
Well, no, it's good to see. I mean, there's, if you look at like the cinematic, like Shen's staff has one thing. If you see it here in the game, I think it has a drinking gourd. You know, which you kind of get already in game. You go to the Peak of Serenity right now, you can buy 4 or 5 different staff colorations in addition to the account-bound one you find in the Monkey Place in the Valley of the Four Winds.
Right.
That has a really nice bamboo green color, I will say. Good for some of those green transmogs. So yeah, I'm hoping we get a look like that for Brewmasters, because it would be really, really neat to see.
Okay, so up on the screen right now is Shaylun, Staff of the Mist. You see we have 5 different variations so far. The middle one is really cool with the dragon staff there. Chi-Ji is like a little too Chi-Ji-ish, in my opinion. It's like, hello, I'm a crane. So, but should be really fun. Should be a lot of good transmog opportunities with those. All right. One thing I also wanted to bring up is they did mention in a couple of additional interviews, spec reworks are being bandied about quite a bit. Mistweaver was brought up in relation to Disc Priest. They say that healers seem to be getting looked at with a confirmed major change to the Disc Priest, making them a more 50-50 healer. It was mentioned in the same interview that Mistweavers will be looked at in the same light, so possible changes coming to Fistweaving. So they want Disc Priest they want Disc Priest to have some control over the heals. Examples they gave was placing a buff on a particular target, and then the damage they do equates to healings on the targets, all the beacons. This could mean the easiest way I can think of doing it is to give Fistweaving Renewing Mist. You place that on a target, and your damage will focus to them instead of going the smart heals way that they're doing now. But we'll see. What are your thoughts on that, Monkey?
They can do anything they want with Fistweaving, as it was just, you know, Crane, I should say, as a stance is very new to this expansion, right? Mm-hmm. It was only introduced in this expansion, so if they want to get rid of it, they're fully in their power to do that. It would be quite a shock to a lot of people to see that, but they can definitely do it. Wouldn't be too surprising. What I would be surprised is if they made it better than it is and leave Disc as the way they want to make it, where it's an offensive healer that does 50-50. Just because, why would you bring a Discipline Priest when you have a Mistweaver who can do what they can do now, which is somewhere between, like, what is it, like 40, 70 or something, DPS healer or something like that? You know, why would you bring a Discipline Priest that's 50-50 when you can have a Monk that does almost that much damage, more healing, but also can switch into a full healer mode?
Yeah,
so,
it has flexibility to do so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one
if
thing
they do keep it, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, that's one thing I was talking about with Naoyuki in our group meet channel, is that he thought, well, why would you bring a Mistweaver when you can bring a Disc Priest, because absorbs are still awesome? And I'm like, but you have a ton more flexibility with a Mistweaver. If the Disc Priest is set at 50-50, when stuff starts going bad, you're screwed. Where the Mistweaver, you can pump in and get some extra heals going out. So I think we're on the same boat on that one. So Naoyuki overruled. All right, well, now it's time to impart some tips and tricks for those raiding monks in
Fist of Fury. It's go time.
All right, so I've decided that if we were doing one boss at a time, it would be 6.5 months before we got done with Hellfire Citadel, so we're going to kick it up a notch. So today we're going to be talking about Hellfire Council, Kilrog, and Gorfine. Going to finish the lower Citadel today. So we're going to go over some quick tips and help you get better on these fights. Let's talk Hellfire Council first. Biggest tip I can give right off the bat is diffuse magic. This can break the encounter if you have enough monks. Mark of the Necromancer will usually bounce if you heal it when it's early on, and it will bounce to 2 other players and it gets really nasty. Not with diffuse magic. You can pop that right away and it doesn't bounce and it clears it, saves your healers a ton of throughput to you. I also suggest to take Tiger's Lust on this to help your slower teammates during Gurtog's Fell Rage, as that's always really bad to get caught by that. So, LeBlue, are you actually able to talk? Or are you lagging too high?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So for Brewmaster, there's going to be 2 different ways of this will happen. You'll either be tanking Dia, or you'll be tanking Gurtog and Jubathos. If you're tanking Dia, you'll want to pool your Elusive Brew for her transformations. They just recently fixed it, so you can't delay or change the timing of her abilities through when you interrupt her Shadow Bolts. So just go ahead and interrupt as many as you can to reduce the damage you take. While tanking her, you will want to cast Guard, and this is going to depend on your resolve if you're tracking it all, right as soon as she starts casting the transformation, or after a few swings, to make sure that your Guard is as large as it could be. This is really the only time you're going to be taking significant damage, and it's going to become more critical after a few stacks of Gurtog's debuff that reduces your health pool. So just use the initial time to kind of get used to that. If you're tanking Gurtog and Jubathos, you'll want to pool Elusive Brew in larger bits, because you can actually dodge the debuff that Gurtog applies, which makes it easier for you to drop it when he goes into that Fell Rage, which some of our block tanks have a little bit harder time doing that with. But bears and monks in particular have a pretty easy time of just naturally having it drop off because of the downtime plus the dodge swings. Really, the only thing is I mean, your Xuan's going to be your choice for this one as far as talents, and that's like really the only big thing. And then Serenity or Chi Explosion, whatever you're comfortable with. Nothing else too complicated for Brewmaster this fight. And diffuse magic, diffuse magic, diffuse magic, diffuse magic, because that needs to be said 1,000 times for this fight.
That is one of the biggest mechanics in here. Let's see. All right, Monkio, what do we got from Mistweaver in this fight?
All right, so it was mentioned that in non-mythic, so heroic and normal, you can just fist weave pretty much the whole fight because damage is pretty low, especially if you bring a normal or high amount of healers to the fight. But in mythic, you want to definitely be healing for the most part. You can fist weave at the beginning because damage kind of ramps up on that fight to get some stacks. Good if you don't have the 4-piece tier 18, you can use the Class Trinket. It actually works pretty well. Just make sure that you're not spending mana on like Rushing Jade Wind or Spinning Crane Kick, because if you're using the Class Trinket, then you're not generating a whole lot of chi if you're soothing misting a lot. For Fell Rage, which is really interesting for Mistweavers, if you get Fell Rage as a Mistweaver, just go Crane and go Fist Weave the boss, because it's a lot of damage and a lot of healing during that too. So that's my Mistweaver tips for that boss, I guess.
Okay. So I haven't done this myself, but it makes perfect sense to me. This is a time to actually dust off Glyph of Detoxing. As a reminder for those that are dusting this off, it gives you 2 charges of detox with an increased cooldown. But due to the Mark of the Necromancer having a large buildup, the cooldown increase doesn't really matter. So you'll get 2 charges to get rid of 2 of them that turn red. So that's a good glyph to kind of switch out. That's the only tip I really have for Mistweaving, since I've only done it a couple times. So, all right, Windwalker, what we got?
Windwalkers, let's talk about Storm, Earth, and Fire. It's a lovely ability. You're going to want to use it. It's not like your traditional Storm, Earth, and Fire cleave everything down, because we are tanking the bosses essentially in a triangle. So, a line, then to a triangle, then back to a line, because you're having Dia so far away. So it's still going to be Serenity overall. You're not getting all that cleave, and especially if you're burning down Gurtog right away, then it's 2 single target Storm, Earth, and Fire targets. So you really want to keep Serenity, especially for the burn. When it comes to burning certain targets down, if you're having trouble, listen to your raid leader. Pull off your clone, go full target, or if it's farm,
Go ham.
rank. Yeah. Let's see. When the Blade Master does his split up part, Storm Within Fire is also very good to just get more damage done on him as a whole. Transcendence is good for Reap. Again, you're using it with Diffuse Magic, so theoretically, you'll never have to worry about it. And, like I said, the overall damage being taken isn't a ton. And as long as, you know, you have healers kind of paying attention to, tell them, hey, don't worry about me. You know, don't dispel me. I got this. You know, I'll let you know if I need help. Because, I mean, you can pretty much get every Reap setup with your Diffuse Magic unless one happens to jump to you after you dispel. So
those are two different abilities there.
The mark of the Necromancer.
Right.
Yeah, but when you have that casts Reap.
Okay.
Right?
I don't think so. I thought you could.
No.
cast
You just put it. She puts that on you throughout the fight, and then she casts Reap at another point in the fight. And if you have Reap, you get hit by the beam. It's the mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah, Reap is the thing where it drops the death pool.
Yeah, but that's only if you mark the Necromancer on you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you dispel a Necromancer, you never have to worry about a Reap.
I don't know anything about these fights, so don't listen to me. Okay.
And the big thing with Gertog, so, you know, if you get fixated, be happy. Run away a little bit, give your tanks some time to drop his stacks, pop Touch of Karma, pop Fort Brew, pop Tiger's Eye Brew, pop everything, and go ham. You're doing 200% extra damage on him. And then your clones will also update too at the same time, so they're also doing 200% extra damage. So, yay. That's it. Easy
I don't
fight.
think I've ever been targeted by that, so.
I got targeted once as he died. It was amazing. It's amazing.
All right, well, let's move on to Kilrog. We see the vision of our death, and it has some interesting lore implications. I would love to talk about it at a later time, but not really more specific. So let's go into Mistweaver. Any tips for this, Monkio?
It's really, really an easy fight, I want to say, for us. Like, for healers, it's just very little damage outside of death throws. During that, you definitely want to be healing. Depending on your comp, you may want to be in melee. I don't know, ranged is, typically moving, but melee are stationary and taking the full, hit of death throws. They're not really, dodging anything. So, but during death throws, just rushing Jade Wind, make sure you have Urinary Miss out, do all that stuff, blah blah blah. During Visions of Death, though, you can probably still fist weave if you get sent down, depending on the classes that get sent with you. If it's like rogues or anything with decent defensive cooldowns or abilities to mitigate damage, you could just fist weave and probably do fine down there on all difficulties. Maybe on like Mythic Heroic you might want to heal, but just adapt.
Right. Okay. All right, Windwalker. You're muted again.
Single target fight with a priority ad. You can use Storm Within Fire if the ad's taken a long time, but he needs to be down as soon as possible. So you might just want to swap targets onto the Hulking Terror. If you do happen to have your Blade Master trinket and not any other ones, it actually works out nicely on this fight because the cooldown on it syncs up perfectly to have up for every Hulking guy, as long as he's delayed on the pull a little bit. So, if you don't have anything else, it does put a little bit extra damage on him, which is nice. Your Disable, if you remember this, if you still have this thing that slows guys every now and then, use your Disable on the salivating guys, and it will slow them, giving you more time to DPS them down if you're having trouble with that particular ad, which is really, really nice and helpful. I think charging Oxwave might also help too. They do come up in your boss frames, so just pop a Storm Within Fire guy on them if you need. But watch your cooldowns, Fort Brew, Diffuse Magic, and Touch of Karma for the Death Throws, because that really will start hurting by the end.
Yep. All right, and Brewmasters.
Biggest thing I say, G-Brew for Kilrog, because I may or may not have said, I'll be fine, for several times I did this, and may or may not have not taken G-Brew, and may or may not have had several instances where I had absolutely zero elusive brew for like 2 like shred armors in a row, which is bad news bears. And guard is no longer flagged as active mitigation, so you can't use it as your oh crap active mitigation button, which is a slight annoyance for me. When I say slight, I wish you could see how big I have my hands out, because it's not one of the things that make me unhappy. But outside of that, don't be afraid to use guard pretty liberally. The boss doesn't really have like a tank buster type move, so just kind of use it to help reduce damage taken from you. Or the salivating guy, since there is a dot that goes on you, and he does actually hit kind of hard, particularly during his savage blows or whatever the hell it's called. I mean, otherwise, really just self-sustain. Healing elixirs, great here. You don't really need diffuse magic because as a tank, the death throws doesn't hit you that hard. And then touch of death. Any ads you can, probably going to be the hulking terror guy thingies when they're about to die. And otherwise, just set up for a single target and you're ready to roll for here.
All right, fantastic. All right, let's move on to Gorefiend. So my biggest tip here is Tiger's Lust, again, to help your slower teammates getting chased by the constructs. We have no problems getting away from those, and most of the time we don't even get targeted by them. So, yep, help out your teammates here. For Windwalker, what I love doing on this fight is when I get Touch of Doom, I drop Transcendence right at the foot of the boss, Flying Serpent kick or roll away as soon as it's about to go off. Timer counts down, pops, I get right back on the boss. Air, any other tips for that?
You can use Storm, Earth, and Fire again on the constructs, on the essences. Really helps out. Yeah, Spirit, Gorebound Spirits, everything. Storm, Earth, and Fire, everything. It's really nice. When you're in the stomach, Disable, again, will help slow stuff down. If your healers aren't doing well, hey, throw a Surging Mist out there every now and then. If you happen to have no ads up. It will crit for 40k. Yeah. I mean, that's a good amount, right? Maybe?
Ish. It helps.
Yeah, again, Disable,
40K.
Storm, Earth, and Fire, Leg Sweep, Arcs Wave, all that kind of stuff. Stuns and slows are your friend. Abuse Touch of Death. Because it's typically going to be a 5-ish minute fight. That's 5 to 6, so you can get 3 Touch of Deaths in there. You can one-shot a Spirit, or one-shot an Essence, one-shot a Construct. It's really, really nice to help out people. And then the real thing is you really want to be pooling your Tiger's Eye Brew for your Feast of Souls. You don't want to use Zuin on the pull. Wait that first 2 minutes. Get up, you want 16 plus. Ideally, you want to be maybe even capped, because you're doing more damage during Feast of Souls. So get up there, pop Touch of Karma for when the things are exploding, get more damage on there. Pop Zuin. The next Feast of Souls after the first one is 3 minutes, so all your 3-minute cooldowns and stuff will be back up and you'll be ready to rock and roll.
Yep, and make sure you're saving your second Serenity if you're going Serenity on this. You can pop it right at the beginning, and it should be up for the first Feast of Souls, but save.
Yep.
It'll be a 30-second window there. Just save it. Don't hit it right on cooldown. And you can go to town. You can get a ton of damage going in this phase because, yay, monks being multiplicative. All right, going to Brewmasters. What do we got for this, LeBlue? Okay. Okay, go ahead.
If you pop Shuen right at the start of the fight and you are the primary tank on Gorefiend, you'll get sent down. You also have Shuen down there to assist you, and he obviously has Lightning Cleave on ads that are around, and he'll help you get that ad down to 70% so it runs in. Don't be afraid to kind of try to position yourself so that your Keg Smash will do damage to the ads coming in. It also will slow them. It's very helpful. But your primary focus is still that tank ad, and you should try to aim yourself so that your back is towards that center pillar, so that as soon as you get knocked back, you just get kicked out, and you're out there waiting for the ad. Dave is very helpful for picking up that tank ad, since he sometimes decides he wants to run somewhere else. Touch of Death, whatever you can, preferably the large ad. Use Guard to reduce the damage from that dot he does. It ramps up quickly and it's pretty nasty, even though it's fairly short. And finally, during the Feast of Souls, use Zen Meditation, use Guard, use Diffuse Magic, liberal use of Expel Harm, all amazing for soaking up the souls in Phase 2. I believe Mythic prevents you from using one person like that, but for Heroic and normal, go absolutely ham with it. Pick them up and use Roll, Tiger's Lust. You can set Transcendence up to do a little bouncing around too. All kinds of things. Just don't forget to swing by the boss and get a Keg Smash or two with them too. The end.
All right, and Mistweavers.
Alright, so there's a number of things you can do here. There was a hotfix recently that supposed to allow your 2 and 4 piece to interact with the essences in the stomach, but in the week that it was hotfixed, it wasn't working, so I'm not sure if it's working now, if they've done anything for it, but it wasn't working after the hotfix. We'll see with that. So best thing you can do down the stomach is to drop your statue in the middle and just go ham on the essences. Go Soothing into Surging and Enveloping. Rem, I would not say is probably worth it on those things unless you also are looking to heal other members of your raid with it. Like if someone's down the belly and that they're low health, you can Rem them and then go heal the essences if you've got your 4-piece on, and it'll heal them as well. For upstairs, you want to just kind of save your chi for when the is it Mark of Doom or Touch of Doom? I think it's Touch of Doom. Touch of Doom is about to go off. It's the explosion when people have to get out and they drop the pools of death.
Yeah.
Save your chi for that because that's pretty much the only big damage hits you'll take. For Feast of Souls, you can heal, but if you have like a normal amount of healers, or if you're overhealing especially, you kind of just want to go Fist Weave during Feast of Souls because you're doing double damage, I think it is, and it means you're doing double eminence healing. Make sure your statue's placed within the raid during this time, and if you do decide to do Fist Weaving during the Feast of Souls, it's a really good idea to take Zwen for that, because you do a lot of extra damage. He actually does a lot of damage for his cooldown period, and the way we did the fight, we were always very spread out during Phase 1. There's no one to heal during Phase 2, so Russian Jade Wind and Chi Torpedo really didn't have a place there if you're going to Fist Weave during Feast of Souls.
And if you take Chi Torpedo, you're probably going to roll right off the edge anyway, so...
That's possible, yeah.
All right, well, that's 3 bosses down, so we'll be taking the Upper Citadel next week. All right, now, students, it's time to meditate and expand our knowledge in...
Transcendence.
All right. Seems like every show I stumble across a tidbit of information brings us a little bit closer to a fuller understanding of the monk class until Legion drops. So here are the things we learned this week. Well, Blue,
I got this one.
I know you learned a lesson here.
Oh, man. So, there we were. Sakrathar, heroic, progressing, fighting to defeat the boss. And then I go, I should save Xuen for when he pops out so he can do extra, kitty damage while I jump in the robot and do all robot things. So I do, thinking this is a great plan. I'm freaking brilliant. Everyone's going to love me. Until they hear me yelling over Mumble, I can't do anything. Hey guys, I can't do anything. Guys, the robot doesn't work. And so I thought it was just bugged. Nope, as soon as Xuen disappeared, it worked suddenly. So friends, the lesson this week is you can't use robots with kitties because they don't mix. Just like oil and water. Don't do it, team. Don't do it. Like matches and gasoline. Don't do it.
All right. Good lesson learned there. All right. Anybody else have anything they learned this week?
Don't run with sharp objects.
I remembered I had Disable this week, so I've been running all tier without it. Oh yeah, what's that button on my Naga? Oh yeah, that's what that does. Okay.
There's someone out there who PvPs who's screaming at you right now. Just keep that in mind.
I learned that Glyph of Detoxing is probably pretty valuable, and I should actually pay attention in my glyphs when I'm in there.
Certainly.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our main discussion topic here. So, when Legion dropped, the Demon Hunter was announced. And the Demon Hunter is listed as the most agile class in the World of Warcraft.
Said mobile.
No, they said agile. They said agile. I will go back and get the quote for you, sir.
Okay.
Look, I just want to note that if you go to the graveyard, the grave of World of Warcraft that's been consistently marked out, if you look over to the right, it's just off of the screenshot there. There's actually RIP monks right there because of Demon Hunters. And then there's a little in parentheses it says except Mistweavers.
Right.
because those are still
Right.
So, if we want to go full faith in Blizzard mode and their development process and design process, they have said that they're going to be focusing on, in multiple interviews that they've done since GameCon, they are focusing on class fantasies, right? They want to make sure that each spec feels like it's supposed to. And so I think it was Chilton, one of the most recent interviews, Chilton said, he gave examples of rogues, how the different rogue specs can feel different, and Hunter's obviously getting a melee spec, and Mark's getting no pet by default. These really flesh out the specs. So I think not only are those pure DPS classes with their different specs being very different, but it's hard to see two classes, Monk and Demon Hunter, being too similar with this new philosophy.
Right.
I really think they're going to do a good job, but I think it's going to require a lot of player feedback because it's a big undertaking to really change this many specs and add a new one.
So from my point of view, I'm concerned. I'm not concerned with about 2 of the 3 specs. I think the Mistweaver fantasy is pretty strong on its own. There's definitely something solid there. The Brewmaster fantasy, the Drunken Kung Fu Fighter, that's definitely a really strong fantasy that I see a lot of people going with. And Sadie, and the one I actually have the most concern about is the Windwalker, because yes, the Kung Fu fantasy's there, but you have the Brewmaster and Mistweaver kind of impeding on that a little bit as it is, and there's also this expansion been a lot of, we'll call them issues with Windwalker that have a lot of the community a little bit salty, just a smidge, about how things go. And I feel like if Demon Hunters are really well fleshed out and Windwalkers look very similar, they don't have to be broken per se, but if they look similar and it looks like things might kind of pan out how they did this expansion, you'll see a pretty big exodus of main spec Windwalkers going to Demon Hunter, because if you're an off-spec tank, Demon Hunter can do that. And really the only people you won't see do that are main spec Brewmaster or Mistweaver. And then there's obviously lots of discussion of how the Demon Hunter
I'm not sure about that,
as far as tanking.
I have seen the biggest profile people that I've seen move over confirm that are going Demon Hunter if the playstyle turns out okay is Sunnier and Mizume. Two major brewmasters in the community, and so I'm actually a little bit worried about Brewmaster as well. The fact that the Demon Hunter plays to the same kind of chaotic playstyle, moving fast, getting up in someone's grill, doing melee damage, leather-wearing class. It plays to the same kind of fantasy that the Monk does. It is slightly different. You have the Serenity Kung Fu versus the chaotic evil Demon Hunter, but it's still kind of in the same role. And so I agree. Windwalker is in a really dangerous spot. Brewmaster also in a dangerous spot. Mistweavers were like, all right, we'll just change the class to Mistweavers and call it a day.
I'm not too concerned. Like I said, one of the things
I'm
mentioned was,
not super concerned about Brewmaster.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Go ahead.
No, but even
I'm just
Windwalker,
gonna interrupt.
one of the things he specifically pointed out that Windwalker and Demon Hunter, whatever it was, Havoc, I think it was Demon Hunter, were going to feel very different. They should be very different. First, the energy, or not the energy, the resource for Demon Hunters is more like rage than it is like energy. I'm guessing that more of their DPS is going to be position oriented than Windwalkers is. Windwalkers, you don't really care about your positioning as long as you have that glyph of the blackout kick.
Yeah.
Yep, blackout kick.
And the way he described it was something like Windwalkers were more of like brawlers, get in your face, back out and heal, and then get back in, whereas Demon Hunters are more just stay in all the time and always be on the target, chasing the target. So maybe that's a playstyle difference, but the actual mechanical differences of the specs, I don't see any reason to think that they're going to be the same at all.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to get out and heal? Because I thought they got rid of our self-healing a
That's
couple
what he
expansions
said.
ago.
Don't you remember Ghostcrawler let you all know back in Mists of Pandaria that the
Yeah,
That's our
Windwalker
utility.
niche was...
Right.
Well,
That's
then hold
right.
up. Who was
That's
just
utility.
talking about 40k crit surging miss? Who was this before, huh? 40k? That's a lot, right?
I'm interested to see how the
/S.
DPS Deep Hunter pans out mechanically. I'm actually really concerned by just by what they say about how they want Demon Hunter tanks to be. The fact that they're going to be a more avoidance-based tank has me incredibly concerned, because there's only one or two ways that that's going to swing. They're either going to be grossly overpowered because their fail-safe mechanism that reduces damage even if they don't avoid it is going to be retarded, aka stagger, or they're going to just be paper tanks like Death Knights used to be, because they were somewhat avoidance recovery based, which made them a big liability in progression rating.
I think they're going to be much more similar to bear tanks, just because of the fact that they're tanking in this metamorphosis type thing. Their fury is just like rage. It's going to be very, very similar.
They did, though. Bears used to have the avoidance problem, though, that they would get. They were mana sponges, bad mana sponges, but then they did something crazy. They made their mitigation also have a big fat damage reduction on it, and now they're really freaking good.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is they're going to be either paper tanks who are occasionally get streaks so you don't have to heal them, or they're going to be just dumb strong, like really strong. And I'm a little worried about that, but nothing to really gauge it on other than they said this is what kind of tank we want, guys. This is what we want to do, and we think it's going to be cool. But we'll see you guys in beta. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Nobody really does, except for they have vague ideas.
We'll have to figure out. But it's because the fantasy it's not identical, but it's close enough. You're having a lot of people, just like how I used to play Enhancement Shaman because it was closest to the monk. People are playing the monk because it's closest to a Demon Hunter. And so when Demon Hunter comes out, they'll shift over to that. So
there are a lot of people talking about this, and one of the things is we're in the know. We pay attention to this, but imagine Johnny Casual. Okay, maybe the person who's not refreshing MMO 10 minutes, who's refreshing in WoWhead every 5 minutes because
Everybody
it's better.
Johnny Awesome's filthy casual brother. That's who that is.
Someone who's just listens to the announcement and thinking, all right, wow, a new class. This is amazing. Oh. I'm a Windwalker. This is melee, leather,
agility
with double jump, and hero class, and Blizzard, what's going on? And then Blizzard goes like this. They're like, well, Mr. Windwalker, deal with it.
Yeah, pretty much. I love their answer to, well, why the heck did you make them a leather-wearing class when there's only 2 male-wearing classes? And that, my OCD just
fits the lore.
Exploded. They said, yeah, it fits the lore, and we're not worried about overloading leather because everyone uses personal loot.
Well, yeah, and exactly. The thing is that what are they going to do here for the raiders? Is in this case is there's going to be, they're saying personal loot's a big thing. Does that mean? And this is my theory now, this is totally my theory, that they're getting rid of Master Looter in Normal and Heroic. Only personal loot.
That's something I've seen thrown around. I've seen that tossed around a good bit now.
And they're keeping loots only for Mythic, which would also eliminate split runs.
False. Monkeyo, I hope you have like 5 accounts. Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
I want to have like a 10-hour-long discussion on that topic. I really do. And I think I agree with you like 100%, but I don't want to get into that now. But
okay.
I don't think they'll get rid of. I don't know what they'll do. I hope they do something like that. I think it would be really great for raiders at anywhere above I don't know, World 100 or something, if they could eliminate split runs by having normal and heroic be personal loot only, like not even give the option for group or master loot. But that's such a controversial thing.
Can I ask you guys something? Like, say each boss has a token of sorts to them, all right? Say you need 5 of those tokens, and you get to pick a piece of loot off that particular boss's loot table. So you go 4 or 5 weeks without seeing that loot that you want, but at week 5, you can now pick that piece because you just have had horrible RNG. The boss might still drop loot, but you get that token, so eventually you can get something you want. Would anybody hate that? Would you consider that gearing up too fast, or do you really want to keep seeing that boss never drop your item?
I don't think they're gonna regardless of what we want. I don't think they changed their loot philosophy that drastically. They like to have the random
bonus coins.
loot drop.
and
Yeah,
miss.
but
I
it's
wasn't
still
expecting
random.
that.
You know, it's still a chance, right? It's still, you might get some loot, probably won't, but you know, it doesn't change it like where you're guaranteed to get something. It's something that you can pick and choose and say, I want this. I've been screwed over enough times. This is what I want. I deserve this. I think that's a little what's the word I'm looking for?
Entitled?
Yes, thank you.
I would love that system because it seems like every tier I have got something that screws me over, like really bad.
Yeah.
So I would.
Weapons being null and void come Legion, though. We all
Yeah.
have weapons.
So-
Hooray!
Yeah,
It's true.
that's true.
Have fun getting your tier and trinkets, nerds.
I would be okay with that. Okay. All right. Well, any last thoughts on Demon Hunter and why it's terrible?
Frostmourne, please.
Terrible.
Actually, I will probably play a Demon Hunter, but I will not main it. But I will
I've
pick
got
it
the
up.
name saved.
Says
Prepare
now.
to go is ready to go. Whenever that stuff launches.
Only you can say no to Hellfire.
All right. Well, it's time to travel to the Peak of Serenity, our new home, the home for all monks in.
Zen pilgrimage.
Monks, assemble!
All right, we did have some questions from the community. So do we see any major changes for the Monk in 7.0? Will Windwalker still have 4 maintenance buffs to do DPS? Is there more pruning to come? That comes from Glorious1, Twitter. So we'll take that one at a time. Any major changes for Monk coming in 7.0?
Oh, I got this. I guess. Can I be snarky? I'm going to be snarky.
A little bit.
I want the big change to Windwalker to be that when they want to nerf their cleave damage, they nerf Storm, Earth, and Fire and not their single target damage.
Yes,
You can
please.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice.
That makes sense, but
So, as far as we know, we don't know of any changes. They did mention Mistweaver is supposed to have some change coming, but they didn't specify what it would be, so we're all going to have to just hold on to our butts and wait to see what they have to say. But they're all tuning around class fantasy, but I think Monk is one of the best ones out there right now. We have our Celestials that we focus, our abilities are focused around the Celestials, so I actually think we're pretty good in that. So we may not have too much change coming. Expect a new mastery from Windwalker, though, I'm sure.
Oh, of
we
course.
Mistweaver too.
Yeah, Mistweaver mastery change would be great, but they seem to love it, so I wouldn't hold out hope for that. All right, Windwalker having 4 maintenance buffs to do DPS. I think they did an excellent job with the tier 18 and handling those maintenance buffs. Rising Sun Kick automatically going with the trinket. You have the combo breakers going on with Tiger Power. What I would like to see is a change to Storm, Earth, and Fire where it doesn't require that stupid ramp-up period. Like, I want Storm, Earth, and Fire to mimic our buffs already. The damage we do mirrors to the other guys instead of having to maintenance buff those guys, because that really destroys our burst DPS.
So just do like a percentage of your damage to those targets.
Right.
Maybe.
As it's listed on the friggin' ability, yes.
So if you do 100, they do 40 and 40, or whatever
Right.
it would be.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if you do 40, they would do 40 and 40, whatever.
Having to give them individual buffs for Tiger's Palm, Rising Sun Kick, and the fact that if you happen to have a proc before, it's not going to apply to them. So if you pop Tiger's Eye Brew and then send out a clone, they're missing out on it.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
guessing it's the same for the rings. It's probably the same for, if Gertog's Blood Boil. Who knows? Whatever that happens after, unlike Zuin, who dynamically updates, if I recall, these little guys.
They're like 2 individual things, which, I mean, it's kind
annoying.
of cool,
It's
but
annoying.
it's extremely annoying. So,
Confirmed. Blizzard hates Windwalkers. Reroll Demon Hunters.
God. All right. Is there more ability pruning to come? We didn't get hit that hard with it last time.
Rest in peace. The little flower thing.
Spinning Fire Blossom. Yeah.
I miss that. I do. That would have been great root and stun for the salivating bloodthirsters.
Yes.
Just gonna say.
Oh, that would be absolutely perfect for that fight. That's true.
Pop up here and there. People going, please give us back Spinning Fire Blossom.
Right.
I
Really?
want Path of the Blossoms so they can run in circles with a purpose.
I hear
That was
Brewmaster's
great.
still
I miss
clamoring
that
for
too.
Clash too. So
I see some. If it wasn't so buggy, I'd be for it. But half the time, it would do weird, funky chicken
Right.
things. So I don't.
Yeah,
I'd really like to see Zen Med back. from
Zen Med
Sweepers.
is the only one I can think of that we really
Yeah.
want back. But now we're
No.
talking about ability gaining back instead of ability pruning. Is there any
Right.
abilities we have that we think should be pruned?
Detonate.
Detonate Chi, yeah, we don't use that hardly at all. I don't think I've ever cast that in Hellfire.
No,
So-
I don't hit it on my bars. It's just not there.
Yeah.
Can I
at the
say
spell
not
book.
prune, but make useful breath of fire, please?
Yeah. Totally.
Please, Blizzard.
It's such a cool looking ability.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to.
magnet.
I don't want to watch a bit of my soul get ripped away every time I watch a new brewmaster use it. Like that depresses me.
Right.
Like every time I see a brewmaster use it,
No!
and it's like my
But it
soul. I
looks
see it
so
floating
cool.
away.
That's just like at level 48 when you get spinning crane kick and you're in the dungeons and you see all the monks just spinning around. You're like, stop it!
There's one bot. There's like one mob, and they're spinning, and it's
Yep.
like, I hate you so much right now.
You know,
I
unlikely
don't
as
know
it
what
may
to
be,
do. I tell you not to, but you're like, but look how cool I am, and I'm just like, go on, Johnny Casual.
the
Nobody will
circle
ever be
statue
special like you.
might get cut if it doesn't get functionality added to it. Because right now it only serves two purposes: one, to copy your soothing mist, and in Crane to give your eminence basically another effective 20 yards on it.
Make
If that
Breath
doesn't
of the
get more
Serpent.
function,
Yeah, make Breath of the Serpent
Yeah.
baseline.
that'd be nice. Oh, not just baseline, but it also needs like a target cap on it, so it's not completely worthless on spread encounters.
Right.
But like that statue is so good looking. I don't see them cutting that because it just looks.
How
so
about
good.
it does a pulse AoE that does light
anything
AoE
really?
kills?
Yeah, because like your buddy Dave does like pulsing threats, so it'd be pretty cool if it does pulsing AoE, and it also does fit the class fantasy of it being like a, like a raid healing aura. That's kind of how I envision Mistweavers, that they always just constantly keeping the rate up as the boss constantly tries to take you down.
Yep.
And so that would be actually a really good addition to the statue. But it just is so boring right now. You have so little
Yeah.
interaction with it. If they don't cut it, I really hope they add something to it to make it worth having.
If you're not using the class trinket, if you're using your 2 and 4 piece, there's like no point in having that statue out because
Yeah.
you're not using soothing. So it's out if you're doing Crane's Dance, but if you're not doing any soothing mists at all, it's absolutely pointless. So yeah, I agree with you there. All right, Glorious continues to ask. They said they learned a lot about fist weaving. What do you think they learned, and will it be more like New Disc?
Clarification: they didn't say fist. They learned a lot about fist weaving in particular. They said they learned a lot about healer DPS,
Yeah.
which doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to do anything good or bad with fist weaving. They just, as a healer DPS concept, meaning like druids with wrath, shamans with lava burst, that kind of stuff. They learned the lessons from it. So that we don't know if that means that they're going to reduce it or increase it or improve it, make it more interesting, make it less interesting, make it more passive. We have no idea what that means because they've given us obviously no indication of what their plans are for that.
Right.
Discipline's the only information we have so far, and all they said was Discipline's going to be a more offensive healer.
Right.
And that when they say it like that, that makes me think that the rest of the healers are going to back off of the offensive parts of their kind of toolkit, whereas Discipline's going to move forward. So if anything, I would expect
Slight nerf to
Crane
it.
to kind of everything to come back from what they currently are,
Well,
just to move forward.
I wonder if the lessons they learned were Butcher, Beast Lord, where you can fist weave and do more healing than everybody else and be fist weaving the whole time. So I'm wondering if that's the lessons they learned. It's like, okay, well, if there's a way to DPS and do heals off of it, people are going to find a way to break an encounter using it. So we need to take those lessons into consideration. So I wonder if that's what they're talking about.
We'll just have to wait and see.
We will have to wait and see.
That's all it is.
Yep.
It's going to be really interesting, regardless of what they do.
Yeah,
I'm
it should be
actually
fun.
very interested to see.
Little Blue, did you have a comment on that?
I think his internet's kind of dead.
Okay. Yep. All right. He says, no, I'm not even going to bother reading that. Okay. So, Gloria suggested the Brewmaster's artifact should be...
Jerk.
JoJo.
Jerk.
Should be JoJo's Jade Pillar that you see in the beginning parts, where it's just like giant totem made of jade. I think that'd actually be pretty cool. But We've already talked about what we think it should be. So, and do we think Windwalker will be dual wield? I absolutely think that. I mean,
I agree.
Pole arm, I can see it, but
Ooh.
it's got to be.
The question is it's going to be fist weapons, right? It has to be fist weapons.
Swords.
It's going to be dual wield.
Swords are also a possibility.
Well, it's all
that's a
possible,
Shadow Pan
but-
thing.
Yeah, a Shadow Pan
Yeah.
thing. So I could see, like, the first Shadow Pan, their artifact weapons, stuff like that. So
What weapons do they sell in the Peak of Serenity? They sell staves and claws, and the hideable transmog weapon too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's nice.
That's all they sell.
Yep.
It's got to be fist weapon. I'd put my
Yes.
money on.
I do too, but it's like I would not be surprised by swords. I would be surprised by axes. Axes would be like, what?
Oh yeah, that definitely be a shock.
I would not be surprised by a pole arm either. So, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Windwalker dual wield. All right. Let's see. LeBlue says he likes the idea as a transmog for JoJo's Jade Pillar, although they'd have to probably work new animations since he carries it much differently from how two-handed weapons are usually carried by monks.
True.
Yeah, that's like a two-handed mace instead of a
Why
pole
do
arm.
they do that? Why do monks carry their weapons differently? Especially two-handers. I can understand one-handers, but two-handers?
Yeah.
Why they gotta be upside down?
I don't know.
That makes sense.
All right, and let's see. Callie Monk, she put out an article in Blizzard Watch that looks at Mistweaver trinkets in Hellfire Citadel. So you can check that out. The link will be in the show notes. So you can just go to blizzardwatch.com and look for, I think it's Zen Meditation is her column name. Yes.
Yeah.
So
If you haven't been reading it every week, or whenever she puts a blog post, change your life habits and go do that. This is something you need to be reading as a monk. There's amazing information in there and really well thought out. So do yourself a favor, get on that.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, and the All Monk raid is returning. So Alliance side, August 29th, starting with normal Hellfire Citadel from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 2 a.m. or 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific Time. This is going to be, it's on an open raid. Links will be in the show notes, but you can look for Monk Meditation All Monk Raid on there. The Horde side will also be doing it, I believe, at the same time, being led by Mizume. So if we get it kicked off at the right time, we'll be doing a race through there. So let's prove the Alliance is the best one out there. Or Hordes, if you want to try to prove that the Horde's the best one out there, good luck. We utterly destroyed them the last time we did this. So come back and prove us wrong. So going to be some interesting fights, and that Kilrog is going to be intriguing as all monks.
Flying Serpent Kick makes that cake.
Yeah.
No, it's Fell Reaver, the bomb, the explosion.
God.
Everyone's got to spread out.
Oh, it's going to be terrible. We're all going to get
Everyone's
walled
marked melee.
at Iron Reaver. Oh my god.
It's gonna be
Oh
dark.
yeah, I mean, did you hear at the end of the the trailer announcement or launch thing that you heard the Fell Reaver, the Iron Reaver sound? Oh, he's coming. He's gonna be there.
He better be there, and he better be unkillable.
I'm so
As
excited
it's like,
for that.
what level? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I want to see him. Some guy that you can bring a 100-person raid against this guy,
Yeah.
and he's gonna be like, ha!
I want to be
And
level
just watch everyone
666.
dead. I
I
want
have
to
to
see
be
level
that.
just
666,
as
I'll be
like
happy.
ninja too.
Yeah.
Walking around Hellfire, you don't notice it until they're right on top of you.
Yeah. So I did
that.
see a very interesting article that I really want to see this. They said, let's make Legion such that we're getting our butts handed to us the entire expansion. And we have to fight tooth and nail, pull out demon hunters, and pull out these tools that we feel terrible to use, but have to do it to save our world. We want to feel like we're just losing behind all the time, and we barely scrape through to save the world. I want it to feel like that. I don't want it to feel like, because Warlords was such a disappointment. It's like all these badass warlords that are in this thing, and we kill half of them in like the questing and the first boss of Heimal dungeons. It's so Let's get back to that. Like, the world is in danger, and we really
Agreed.
need to get our butts kicked and
Agreed.
hand it to
And
us.
then Deathwing!
And then Deathwing.
Bring him back. I don't care. I just want to be scared again
Yeah.
out in the world.
The Fell Reaver, exactly what you said. I want to be terrified when that Fell Reaver comes around. Because I don't think there was a single point in Warlords where I felt I was underpowered. You know,
leveling even, no
Yeah.
problem. I
There
remember
is-
my first Night Elf Hunter walking around Darnassus, going out to the edge, and I see a clearing out, looking out, and like, oh, that looks interesting. And I walk out there, my 3-hour old account. I go out there to the limb, look around, it's beautiful. I turn around, and there is something. There is a group of satyrs, and I was afraid, and they killed me.
There's only one part of Warlords of Draenor that had any like sort of impact on me as a player and how I saw the world, and that was Murad's death, because that's effectively the only quote real death.
yeah.
He actually came with us. He was from Mars. Every other death is superfluous.
Was the
It
alternate
doesn't
universe stuff, yeah.
matter.
Like when
Yeah,
Velen
like-
died, that was supposed to be such a huge emotional thing,
Moment.
but it's like, but he's back in.
Yeah,
there.
the one we actually care about is still there. But
Right.
Murad dying, it's like he's gone. Like we ain't seeing him again. He's gone. Whereas Velen dying is like, 1 second here, give 1 second, I'm Hearthing. All right. Oh, you're still there. Hey, Bo. Hey, bro. What's up? Yo.
Y'all are heartless. I cried.
That
It was
one,
emotional.
the Shadow Moon Valley entire storyline was utterly fantastic. Horde players, if you still actually listen to us with how much hate we
nerds.
give you, do yourself a favor, and I don't care if you hate the Alliance, boost to 90, get out there and play Shadow Moon from start to finish. It is a fantastic storyline. So, the Horde one I did, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Drekthar is awesome, but it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
He's like a thrall I don't hate.
Right.
Great storyline. Never felt afraid.
Yeah, this is true. But it's like I started another character that had like 460 gear and went in there, and stuff hurts. And there in Shadow Moon. So it's but I still wasn't terrified, wasn't afraid. It's like I always felt like we had the upper hand because we had 35 years of knowledge on what they were going to do and who they were to smack them down. So I agree. All right, recruitment. So if you are looking for a monk, you or your guild, we happen to know a couple, go ahead and shoot us the information at show@monkmeditation.com or reach us on Twitter at monk_meditation. Blood Legion, some people may have heard of them. They're looking for a Windwalker for mythic progression?
I believe the term is Winduweku.
Okay. They are actually looking for a Windwalker. They are a Horde side. They raid 9 p.m. Central to 1 a.m. Central, Tuesday through Thursday. They're on Illidan, US. You can visit bloodlegion.com to apply. Good luck out there.
There.
Yes.
This is a joke.
No. They're actually looking
Okay.
for a Windwalker. Go apply,
They're
Air.
not trolling us
Windwalkers
because
are not
They
that
they went
bad.
casual. No, they went casual after Black Rock
that's
Foundry.
why they want a Windwalker.
Yeah.
Okay. Did they kill Archimon yet?
No.
Uh,
Air.
I don't
Damn it.
think So, Air, be nice.
Be nice. Oh, I think it's time to put the brew away, guys. It's getting a little crazy here. All right.
Yeah, Air.
Please
Well,
rate us on
I
iTunes, Stitcher, subscribe on YouTube, or on Twitch.tv. And if you'd like to help support the show and to help it grow and get even better, you can become our boss by going to patreon.com/monkmeditation. You can help guide the future of the show and get some fun rewards along the way. Air, you got any shout-outs for me, bro?
Shout out to Monkey-O for putting up with me the last hour and a half, and the good guys at Midwinter. You guys, I mean, you're putting forth this. I'm still rooting for you all. Like, get it done. I know you can. I believe. The hype has never left me. My heart is for you guys. I believe.
Monkey-O.
Very similarly, like we had a few people drop out of the raids, but definitely appreciate all the people that stuck with the guild and with the raid, even though we still haven't killed that final boss. And to just all the people who've been following me on Twitter and talking to me on Twitter. It keeps the days very fun and entertaining. So thank you.
Yeah, you're very fun to follow on Twitter, so definitely do that. All right, LeBlue, you got any shout-outs if your internet allows?
Dojo, you're the only one for me.
Aww.
Aww.
Aw.
All All right, I'm going to give a shout out to Rectified. Thank you so much for putting up with me for the last few months. And Rolling Thunder, let's continue kicking butt and get into Heroic and see how things go. All right, as part of the Monk community, if you have a blog, website, or person you want to see on the show, reach out to us via email at show@monkmeditation.com. The Monk community is the best one in the world of Warcraft, even better than the stupid demon hunters, and we want to showcase it. Monkio, how can the dojo best reach us?
You can follow the show at Monk Meditation. You can follow Chai T at @WallMonk. You can follow Air at Airwalker. You can follow myself at Monkio. You can follow LeBlue at Kagere LeBlue.
All right, thank you all for listening. You can watch us live Monday, August 24th with guest hosts Magdalena, Mazer, Mizime, and Sunnier for some tanking talk at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, midnight UTC at twitch.tv/wowmonk. You can also visit monkmeditation.com for links to all the ways to watch and listen to the show. That will wrap up this episode of Monk Meditation.
May your bruise be strong and your heart stronger.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
I love the 20.